gonna make my favorite roast turkey dinner. Oof, that's a big turkey. I don't understand why our mothers used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to roast a turkey. I can't figure it out. I think they had this thing about bacteria. A 12-pound turkey should roast in about 2.5 hours. And it'll be moist and delicious. Ooh, that's a beautiful bird. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take out the giblets, like the neck and the, well, ooh, it's cold, it's wet. And I'm gonna save it for stock later. And this looks beautiful. And then I'm gonna pat it dry. So I'm gonna put some salt in the middle and some freshly ground pepper. Just make sure it's really well seasoned. We're not gonna do stuffing, you know? It's enough with the stuffing. I'm gonna put all kinds of things in the cavity that are gonna give it lots of flavor. So I'm gonna stuff it with onion, forget peeling it, just chop the whole thing up and just put it right into the inside of the turkey. It's great. And then maybe big sprigs of thyme. And then we're gonna have lemon. I'm gonna just put big chunks of lemon in, just like that. It's gonna be so delicious. And then maybe the last thing is a big chunk of garlic. Put a big chunk of it right in the middle of the turkey. And then the last thing is I'm gonna just take these little wings and tuck them under, just so they're not flapping around in the pan and that they burn before the turkey's finished cooking. You're basically just doing that with the turkey. It doesn't mind. So I've got about 4 tablespoons of butter melted in here. Just brush it nicely on the outside of the bird. And then salt and pepper. Remember, it's a big bird, so salt it really well. And some pepper in the pan. So about 2.5 hours at 350 degrees, and we're gonna have a fabulous turkey. Oh, love it. Doesn't that look gorgeous? So I'm just gonna wrap it up with aluminum foil. Really makes a difference if you let it rest for about 20 minutes. Just let the juices get into the meat, and the whole thing will taste fabulous. I carve a turkey the same way I carve a chicken. So I'll show you what I do. I'm gonna take the legs off. Those are the legs, perfectly cooked. And then I'm gonna cut up the dark meat a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna carve the dark meat first on this side. Okay, and then I'm gonna carve the turkey breast. What I'm gonna do is take the whole breast off, actually, in one piece, just the way I do with a chicken. So it looks perfectly cooked. I'm just gonna slice it. It's so much easier to do this way. And I like when the slices aren't so incredibly thin that they fall apart. So, just like that. Okay. Maybe a secco pear here. Doesn't look half bad, does it? First, I'm gonna make the filling. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I love these Tuscan flavors, and I'm gonna put a little prosciutto in it to give it extra flavor. 1.5 cups of onion. I'm gonna add 3/4 teaspoon of fennel seeds. It's gonna give it great flavor. And I'm gonna cook these together until the onion is tender. So I'm gonna add some garlic. 2 tablespoons, which is about 6 cloves. I always add at the end because you don't want to burn the garlic. That's a terrible flavor. Not good in turkey. So I'm just gonna cook this for about 30 seconds or a minute, just until you can smell that garlic. I'm gonna turn it off. Next, rosemary. It's got a lot of flavor. I need about 1 tablespoon chopped up. The next thing is 1 tablespoon of chopped sage, right in. So that's the herb and onion mixture. Next, the turkey. So what I asked the butcher to do is give me a whole boneless turkey breast with the skin still on. And then I asked him to butterfly it, which means to take it and fold it out. So he kind of cut this way and opened it up. And that way, I get the herb and onion mixture throughout the whole turkey. So first I'm gonna season it. You need 4 teaspoons of salt. Don't skimp on the salt, it makes all the difference in the world. And 1.5 teaspoons of pepper. Okay, the next ingredient is butter, because it's gonna keep it really moist. gonna take 4 tablespoons, and I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna grate it. It's kind of the easiest way to distribute it. You wanna make sure you get all the butter in, and just distribute it like this. And then it gets rolled up inside the turkey, and keep it really moist and delicious. Okay, next is the onion mixture. And just spread the whole thing out, just like this. Okay, and now prosciutto. So I'm gonna take slices of prosciutto and just lay them right on top. So I'm just gonna start at one end, and when it's done, you'll see it's gonna look absolutely gorgeous. So I've got kitchen twine. The tighter you tie it, the more evenly it's gonna cook. So really give it a nice yank when you're tying it. About every 1.5 inches. This will feed probably 8 to 10. Now just to make it look really pretty, I'm gonna take sage leaves and put them underneath each of the ties. And then when it comes out of the oven, it looks just gorgeous. Okay, how does that look? I put it on a rack so it doesn't sit in the pan juices. It roasts evenly all around. Okay, right on top. Okay, it's pretty dry, but I'm gonna pat it dry with paper towels because it'll brown better if it's dry. Just pat it like that. Perfect. Brush it with olive oil. Make sure it gets nice and browned. A beautiful brown skin. Of course, lots of salt and pepper. And last, I'm gonna put 1 cup of wine. Don't pour it over the turkey, pour it right in the pan. And 1 cup of water in the bottom of the pan. There are 2 steps. First, I'll put it in a 350-degree oven and roast it for 1 hour and 45 minutes. The time will depend on the size of the turkey, so check it with an instant read meat thermometer. And when it registers 150 degrees, it's done. Then second, and equally important, I'm gonna cover it with aluminum foil and let it rest for 15 minutes so the juices get back into the turkey. Okay, you ready for a gorgeous turkey? Ta-da! Oof. I love the way it looks. All the flavoring gets all the way through it. You can see the fennel seeds. Okay, so I'm gonna put 1 big piece right here, and then put the rest right on the platter. This is so moist, it doesn't even need gravy. It's got pan juices. Right over the turkey. I would say once you've made a turkey this way, you're never going back to the old-fashioned way. My friend Sarah Chase has written 2 of my favorite cookbooks of all time, Open House Cooking and Cold Weather Cooking. But the best thing is, she was involved in the turkey hotline at Thanksgiving, so she knows everything there is to know about turkeys and the crazy questions, right?
I do.
So she's here to make a turkey with me. Who better to do it? And we're gonna make a turkey with white truffle butter, which I think is such a great idea. And you're gonna put it under the skin, right?
Yes. What we want to do is with your hands, and this is not the most pleasant job in the world, and pretty much you don't want to have anything on your hands like a big rock that's going to tear the turkey skin because you want to keep it
Well, you want to have a big rock on your hands, but not while you're making the turkey.
Or not this hand that's going underneath the turkey. And then we take wads of butter.
Wads of butter, always a good idea. It is Thanksgiving after all.
We smush it around underneath the skin. And what this butter is going to do is help keep the meat very, very moist and also perfume the entire bird.
I'm just gonna take an onion and cut it in 8ths. You don't even have to peel it, just like that.
Because rather than stuffing the turkey, we're just gonna put aromatics in the cavity, which actually lessens the roasting time.
Okay, so we've got an onion and a head of garlic, the whole thing, peel and all. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is
get
salt
the
and
cavity
pepper it,
ready,
right?
yep.
Okay, so you're gonna hold it open and I'm gonna put salt in, lots of salt.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of salt. Make sure it tastes really good. And pepper. Okay, and then onions.
Okay,
So
we want
got
some
fresh
thyme in there.
Actually, the wackiest story I ever heard is a very good friend put the turkey in the oven, set it, and went for a walk, and came back, couldn't open the oven door. And I said, why? She said, because I set it on clean. So they had to unscrew the door in order to get the turkey out. And I said, what did you do? And she said, I served it. She said, it was very clean. Okay, so should I tie it up?
Sure. Just gonna drizzle a couple tablespoons of olive oil over, pat it all over. And this is just almost like suntan lotion. Helps with the even browning, no SPF in here. The turkey roast gets it nice and brown, and you just want to rub a light coating all over. And once that is on, you want to take your time, a little bit extra time.
Isn't that gorgeous?
And just sprinkle it over the top, sort of in a very French bistro manner. And then lots of salt and pepper again on the skin. Because I don't know about you, but I live to eat the turkey skin.
Okay, into the oven, 325 degrees for about 2.5 to 3 hours until the white meat is 160 degrees right in the middle of the breast. And the good news is no basting. About halfway through, when the breast is golden, cover it loosely with aluminum foil just to prevent the skin from burning. And how's this for an idea? If you want the skin to be crisp, don't baste the turkey at all. Take the turkey out to rest for 15 to 20 minutes and cover it tightly with aluminum foil. It'll bring all the juices back into the turkey. I have knives and forks for everybody. Or I'm gonna give you a taste. How's that?
All right.
And I'm using my fingers. That's the best turkey I ever had. It was unbelievable. And how easy was that? So what I have in this pot is I've sauteed some onions and garlic and then broken up some sausage that I got at the store. And this is turkey sausage. You can get hot, you can get sweet, but I actually like to combine the two, so it's half and half. It's about 1.5 pounds of sausage. And it's all cooked in a little bit of olive oil. Then I'm gonna add tomatoes, a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes in puree. If you use whole tomatoes, you can just put it in the food processor and crush them up yourself. And a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, the whole can. I'm gonna add lots of flavoring. Some fresh basil. Just pick off some leaves and chop it up coarsely. It's all gonna cook together anyway. I love basil, and it tastes so good with tomatoes and turkey sausage. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so right into the tomato and turkey sausage. And then I think some fresh parsley. You can use flat leaf parsley like this, or you can use curly parsley. I think this has a little more flavor, but really depends on the parsley. Right into the pot. I think we need salt and pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. A lot of this depends on how salty and peppery the sausage is, so you'll want to taste it. 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then just stir it up. I'm just going to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes over low heat until all the flavors blend together and the tomato and the basil and the turkey sausage all taste like one. Okay, now I'm going to get the cheeses ready. I need 15 ounces of ricotta cheese, which is usually 1 package. And then I'm going to put lots of flavors in it. First thing is goat cheese. I know it's unusual in a lasagna, but I think it really gives it great flavor. So this is a 4-ounce package. I mean, if you have a 4.5-ounce package or 5-ounce package, just be casual about it. It's just fine. Just crumble it right up into the ricotta. Sort of a little more pungent kind of flavor. It's good. 1 cup of grated Parmesan. Just mix that in. And then 1 egg. You know, when you're putting an egg into a mixture, I always put it into another glass bowl because you never know when you get a bad egg. So 1 egg, extra large egg, just mix that in. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of flavor with some chopped parsley. About 2 tablespoons. And of course, salt and pepper. You don't need too much because the Parmesan's pretty salty. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Just spread it out along the bottom of the dish. Mush it around. Just want to do 1 layer of pasta right on top of the tomatoes. They don't have to be perfect, just cut them to fit. Just take about half the mozzarella and layer it on top. And then the next layer is this cheese, the ricotta, about half the cheese. Remember, it's the ricotta and goat cheese and Parmesan. More sausage. Okay, another layer of noodles. More mozzarella. The rest of the cheese. amazing how fast this builds up. And with nothing more strenuous to do than grate some Parmesan over it, I put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. It's Thanksgiving. I've already got too much to do. I love to have 3 table settings in my back pocket that I can pull together in no time with ingredients from the grocery store. So if I go to the store and I think Thanksgiving, orange tulips, this is what I do. First, I cover the table with a waterproof runner to protect the table. Then I put a tablecloth over it. This one is a modern damask, which is a subtle mix of taupes. It's a great neutral backdrop. Then white plates. I'm using square ones, which are also a little modern. Just plain silver cutlery, simple wine glasses. Then to complement the orange flowers, orange napkins folded really simply. The flowers themselves, they go down the middle of the table just in drinking glasses. I always do them in odd numbers, so for this one, 3, but if you have a long table, maybe 5. And then plates of little orange clementines in between the flowers. Then votive candles scattered right down the middle of the table. They really add sparkle. Then the final touch is to use these charming pumpkin cookies from my friend Eli as name cards. Oh, that looks like where I'm going to be sitting. It's simple, it's stylish, and I think the orange always looks so festive. Pumpkins. Hello, Thanksgiving, pumpkins. It's going to be a great basis for a table setting. So I like to mix them. I like the little ones and the littler ones. Oh, those are going to be fantastic together. This table setting starts with a plain white cloth. It makes such a great backdrop. An elegant gray plate just adds a little sparkle. Simple cutlery, plain but elegant glasses. Really, this is the table setting where less is more. Then a nice gray checked napkin to complement the plates. Now, down the center of the table, votives with white candles. I never use scented candles. They compete with the flavor of the food, and they overpower the aromas. And the thing that really makes this look like Thanksgiving is pumpkins right down the middle in all different sizes. Then, because it's fun, and everybody loves them at Thanksgiving, silver bowls of candy corn. When you see this table setting, you really know it's Thanksgiving. And this is the easiest table setting of all. Just gonna get delicious things to serve with coffee and do them right down the middle of the table. And I love these. They're chocolate-covered caramels with sea salt from France. I'm gonna get 2 boxes. This setting doesn't even have a cloth. I just use runners, but not in the usual way down the middle of the table. I put them across. Then keeping it simple, white plates, napkins to match the runners, simple cutlery, my everyday glasses, and some little votive candles right down the center, just to add that sparkle. So the interesting thing here is that the decoration is the dessert. So on beautiful pedestals and footed plates, I arrange beautiful red sickle pears, plum clementines, bunches of grapes cascading over cake stands, and some delicious chocolate salted caramels. It's enough to make you want to skip the main course, and it all came from the grocery store. So there it is. I've got 3 easy Thanksgiving table settings, and I can get them at the grocery store. I've got Thanksgiving covered, and I haven't broken a sweat.